Greetings and salutations. Hello, hello. Welcome to episode number 7 of The Clutch. We have a lot to talk about right now. Julio Jones finally got traded to a team in the AFC, not the East, but lots to talk about. The Suns, Celtics, Bruins even. I know, shocking Bruins. But right now we have a lot on my mind about the Boston Celtics right now and about the New England Patriots. So let's talk about Julio Jones first. So Julio Jones finally got traded. He got his wish. His wish is my command. That is right. He got traded to the Tennessee Titans. And I'm kind of pumped and I'm excited about this. I can't believe I'm saying this as a Patriot fan too. I mean, Julio Jones got his wish. He got out of Atlanta. Now, there are so many questions circling around this. Is the Tennessee Titans a winning team? Yes. But they haven't shown it in the past couple of years. Losing to the Kansas City Chiefs a couple of years ago. And also losing to the Baltimore Ravens, not even last year. Yes, they beat the Patriots, Tom Brady's last season. But the question is, can the Tennessee Titans possibly make the Super Bowl with Julio Jones on the roster? Now, I say it's a definitely yes and no situation for Julio Jones. Because here's the thing. Yes, offensively on paper, the Titans, they look fabulous. They look unstoppable. No one's going to stop them offensively because they have Ryan Tannehill, Julio Jones. They have A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry. That's an unstoppable offense. But the question is, defense wins you championships. And the Tennessee Titans, they don't have that great of a defense. So here's the thing. They'll make the playoffs, I think, possibly as a 4th, maybe 5th team. But defensively, I just don't see them doing well. I don't. I mean, I love Julio Jones on the Tennessee Titans, but he said he'd rather have a deep ball thrower. And is Ryan Tannehill really a deep ball thrower? If you actually sit back and if you actually think about this, truly, he really isn't. Because in the past couple of years, he hasn't thrown any. He's thrown maybe a couple of deep balls to A.J. Brown and to Adam Humphries. But other than that, he hasn't been really known for a person that throws the ball really deep. When he used to be on Miami, he never threw the ball deep to Devontae Parker, to Landry, to Gesicki or whatever. But no, he is not a deep ball thrower. I mean, would I rather see Julio Jones be on a team that can actually throw the ball deep? Yeah. I'm thinking, the Seahawks and Russell Wilson, because they were in talks of acquiring Julio Jones. And I think that would have been a huge receiver for the Seahawks to get. And I think they would have been in first place this season if they would have acquired Julio Jones. Who would they have sent over? Maybe the same package, send over a 2nd and a 4th round, just like how the Houston Texans, how the Tennessee Titans did that. So I think Seattle would have been a great fit for Julio Jones too. I think Seattle would have fit, maybe LA, the Rams, maybe Las Vegas if you throw him in there, with Ruggs, and if you throw him in there with Cooper Kupp and Woods, it wouldn't have been a very bad scenario right there. Matthew Stafford, very young quarterback, very talented quarterback. I think his team is going to make the playoffs. I think it's going to be an easy way for Matthew Stafford to be in the playoffs for the first time. He has some weapons here and there. But Julio Jones, I mean, we don't know him personality-wise. I mean, you never know what might happen here in Tennessee. I think that there could be some problems up in Tennessee. I mean, I understand that, Tennessee and New England was his top 2 suitors to be traded to, and he got his wish being traded to the Tennessee Titans. But if you actually really think about it for a second, you have to think and say this. Tannehill usually hands off the ball to Derrick Henry. It's still going to be probably the Derrick Henry show there. But I think if, Ryan Tannehill practices a lot more and he throws the ball deep, because Julio Jones said in a tweet, or he actually spoke out and said that, he wants to turn and burn on some of these defenders, which he possibly will. I could definitely see that happening. But, will he strive in a Tennessee Titans uniform? I think so. Now, will he get over or under 20 touchdowns? You know, if Ryan Tannehill worked on his accuracy and he actually throws some, very great deep balls to Julio, I could definitely see that happen. But I think in all matters, I think he doesn't work out with the Tennessee Titans. I think he does fine the first couple weeks, but I think there's going to be a lot of tension with Julio Jones there. He's going to be happy the first week. He's going to be, skipping in the flowers and the meadows and saying that, oh, everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be fine. But I can definitely see some turmoil in, Julio Jones and maybe some of his teammates too. I mean, yeah, maybe, the Titans love him as a player, but maybe, on the field, off the field stuff, maybe stuff like that happens. But, we never know that for sure. But I think Julio Jones, great fit for the Tennessee Titans. I think that he's going to strive well. He's going to get along with his new quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. And, I think they're going to have a great connection together, which will be great, fascinating. But I really think that, they'll make the playoffs. Will they play in the first round? We don't know because it hasn't been the start of the season yet. But, I definitely think that Julio Jones has possibly 20 or more or under touchdowns. I could definitely see. But if you ask me who's a better quarterback for Julio to play with, Ryan Tannehill or Matt Ryan, I'm definitely choosing Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is definitely the better quarterback for him to throw some, deep passes to. He's thrown a lot of bombs to Julio Jones, a lot of great touchdowns. They've had fantastic memories there in Atlanta. Many Atlanta Falcons players are going to miss him dearly. I mean, it was bound to happen. Tom Brady last season, signing a deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Gronkowski being traded from the Patriots to the Buccaneers. I mean, a lot of stuff has been happening. DeAndre Hopkins getting traded to the Arizona Cardinals. J.J. Watt signing a deal with the Cardinals. I mean, it was bound to happen. It seems like everything's going in line for, big players making big moves someplace else. And, it's sad and it's very surprising to see because, with last season, I didn't know that DeAndre Hopkins was going to find a new home and get traded to the Arizona Cardinals because that was a very interesting trade that actually happened with the Houston Texans. And Bill O'Brien is very crazy and very stupid to trade one of his top wide receivers because DeAndre Hopkins, he fit well with the Texans. He was their number one guy for Deshaun Watson to throw to. It was between him, Fuller, Cobb. It was just a very weird situation for that to happen. Great to see DeAndre Hopkins getting traded to New England, but we know Bill Belichick, he doesn't like to trade for big wide receivers other than Randy Moss, or if you want to talk about top wide receiver, Josh Gordon. Those are the only basically top wide receivers that, Bill Belichick has actually chased after, which is kind of crazy enough to talk about. But, am I upset that Julio Jones isn't in a Patriots uniform as we speak of right now? I'm not really upset. I'm not, crying over him. I'm not saying, oh, my God, we needed Julio. He was going to be the answer. No, I'm not, because here's the thing. We have two top tight ends. We have a great wide receiving core in Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. And I really think Kendrick Bourne can strive well in a Patriots uniform. I mean, he hasn't touched the field. He hasn't even worn a Patriots uniform. And I read a tweet not even a couple days ago, saying that, he wants to be on the New England Patriots for life. And when you see someone that actually says something like that, you know that they're going to love and stay on the team. Maybe he could be like a Julian Edelman that we've always wanted. Maybe he could be a Danny Amendola. But, I'm really liking the acquisitions of him and Nelson Aguilar. Yeah, people are going to say, oh, remember when he was called Nelson Drops-A-Lot Aguilar? Yes, I do remember when people used to call him Nelson Drops-A-Lot Aguilar when he used to play for the Philadelphia Eagles. But now, last season, he did phenomenal in a Raiders uniform. He did great. That's why Bill Belichick signed him to a 2-year deal, and he signed Kendrick Bourne to a 3-year deal. And I'm very surprised that, Kendrick Bourne would sign here in New England because he was a top wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. And I was just really astonished. I just couldn't believe that this was happening right here, right in front of our faces. I can't believe that Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar are in the New England Patriots uniforms right now. I think those could be a great wide receiver duo for Cam Newton or Mac Jones, whoever Bill Belichick decides to start. But I think he's going with Cam Newton. Everyone knows that, Cam Newton's going to be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots come this season. He's going to go with the person that knows the playbook here and there. He's going to strive well in his second season as the Patriots quarterback. I can see it. Usually people strive well in second chances in the NFL, and that's what I'm giving Cam Newton. I'm giving him this season. If he still sucks like he did last season when there was no fans, then I'm going to say, Mac Jones is the answer. We need to look for another quarterback. Because here's the thing, for the situation with this, we signed Brian Hoyer. We drafted Mac Jones, which I really love. We re-signed Cam Newton to a one-year deal, which I was really shocked with, but then I'm both proud about. And I really think that he can strive well in his second year. But then there's an odd man out. I've never seen 4 quarterbacks on a Patriots roster before. You have Stidham, you have Hoyer, you have Mac Jones, and you have Cam Newton. It seems like there's going to be one odd man out in this situation, and I think we all know who it's going to be pointing to. Jarrett Stidham. He will not be in a Patriots uniform come September. He will be cut during training camp, or he might be traded to the Texans, because I've been hearing that, the Texans have been informed about, Jarrett Stidham, and they're really interested in him. So it really looks like Jarrett Stidham will be the odd man out for the New England Patriots come this season. Because here's the thing. We re-signed Cam Newton, we drafted Mac Jones, and shockingly, we did sign Brian Hoyer. I don't know why. I really don't know why we signed Brian Hoyer before mentor. I can understand helping out Mac Jones, great. Helping out Cam Newton, that is fine. I just don't want to see him on the field if both Cam Newton and, say, Mac Jones get hurt. I really don't want to see that scenario happen for the New England Patriots come October or November, because I seriously see us being a 10 or 11 winning team. I can see us coming back in the playoffs. Bill's a very smart, coach. I could definitely see us striving, doing well. We have great running backs and James White, Damian Harris, Sony Michel. I thought he was going to be traded in the Julio Jones trade, but we still have him to this day, and it is great. But we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about some NBA playoffs. What do I think about the Phoenix Suns? Do the Celtics really need to trade for a Dame Dime? I will answer those questions next. This is The Lunch. Hello, and welcome back to The Clutch. I have a very interesting topic to actually talk about here. So I've been hearing that the Boston Celtics have been in talks. Well, not have been in talks because, the playoffs aren't really finished yet in the NBA. But I've been reading a lot of articles basically saying that, should Celtics trade for Dame Dime, a.k.a. Damian Lillard? Yes. I think that would be a great scenario for the Boston Celtics. If you think about it, if we can actually acquire Damian Lillard in a trade with the Portland Trail Blazers, And say if we get him and McCollum, that means we're probably trading Kemba Walker, probably Jaylen Brown, Romeo Langford, Grant Williams. I'd be for it. As long as we still have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, the two pieces that basically you can't trade away, I say go for it. The Celtics need, and I've been talking about this so many times on here, the Celtics need some veteran help. And maybe, with the whole coaching situation going on that I talked about last time on the Clutch, talking about, the Celtics should definitely, sign and get Chauncey Billups, a.k.a. a former point guard player and a former player that the Celtics really need for a coach, because we never saw this happening. Danny Ainge stepping down as the Celtics GM and seeing Brad Stevens take over. Now here's an interesting scenario here with Brad. Will the Celtics strive well with Brad Stevens as a GM? Will he be more aggressive than he is as a coach? Because this is actually very interesting as a Boston Celtics fan. It really, intrigues me to see if the, Celtics can actually acquire great talent as Damian Lillard. Kristaps Porzingis is probably looking to find, a team elsewhere to go to. But, other than that, if Brad Stevens is just like Bill Belichick this year during free agency, tossing money out there, I say go for it. Do it. Do it, Brad Stevens. Do whatever you can. Will I be upset there's no Kemba Walker? Yes and no. Here's the thing. When he signed here, I was like, oh, my God, we actually got a really good point guard, minus the whole Kyrie Irving situation. So, and I'm thinking that, the Celtics can definitely strive off of great talent in Kemba Walker. He was a great player when he was on the Bobcats, the Hornets. He was great there. And I think, if we send him over to a trade place like Portland, I think he'll do great. I really think so. Because here's the thing. The injuries really hurt the Boston Celtics this year. They really did. And it was very upsetting to see that Kemba Walker was either hurt with leg ligaments or his arms were hurting or, something with his chest, legs. He was like a broken down Tony Romo if you actually, think about it. He was a broken down Tony Romo. Broken legs, broken this. He was out for a couple games and, whatnot. He really didn't show up in the Brooklyn Nets series, which was not really surprising for me. But, the Celtics, they need some veteran help. And if, Brad Stevens reaches down in that pocket and says, hey, Dame Dom, we need you here in Boston, I say go for it. I say do it. I'd say go for the money and sign some great talent and trade for some. Because if you get Damian Lillard, he's like a top 5 point guard. Go for it. Do it. Make the trade, Brad. Do it for the Celtic Nation. We out here. We're looking for Banner 18 right now. We're looking for Banner 18. We don't want to be tied with no Los Angeles Lakers. We've been looking for an NBA championship, and we were this close when, Gordon Hayward goes out and Kyrie Irving. We were one freaking game away. We were just one game away from a championship. And I think we could have won it. With a young Brown, with a young Tatum, Rozier, Morris, Al Horford. I could go down the list. We had the team to do it. And Danny Ainge, he was a great GM for the Celtics. He was really amazing. I couldn't even believe the trade that he made to acquire KG and to get Ray Allen over here. He sent like 5 or 6 players to the Timberwolves. It was like Sebastian Telfair, Theo Ratliff. I think Big Al was sent there. Gomes was sent there, and 2 other players that I can't really wrap my names around. But he sent like basically half the Celtics in. We sent Wally Zerbiak and I think Delonte West to acquire Ray Allen, which was amazing. And we got a really good 3-point shooter in Ray Allen from the Supersonics. Yes, I think, that's what they used to be called, the Supersonics right now instead of the OKC Thunder. And, We acquired some great young shooting talent, and right now we got like one of the best centers / power forwards in the league in Kevin Garnett. If Brad Stevens can pull out a trade like that and acquire Dame Dime, do it. Go for it. Go for the gold. That's what the Celtics need. They need some fire. They need some passion. I think it's time to acquire some Dame Tom right now. Acquire him. Maybe even get CJ McCollum in a package deal. Yeah, that means you have to probably send in Mark Smart or Jaylen Brown in a trade. Do it. Probably Romeo Langford, Grant Williams will be gone. Good riddance. And I really hope we really do resign Fournier because he's a big player that the Celtics need. He was a great fiery player, shooting them threes, knocking them down, rebounding, talking smack to, Kevin Durant. That was awesome, and that's what we need in the Boston Celtics right now. This is what we need. This is what we do for Celtics Nation. Let me hear you scream. We need a Kevin Garnett intensity here. And if we acquire Dame Lillard, and if we somehow get, what's his name, Beal over here too, that means we'll probably have to send in Jaylen Brown, but be it. Imagine having Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum on the team, and then Bradley Beal too. That's a team to definitely look forward to in the Boston Celtics. Yeah, you'll probably lose some guys in, Robert Williams, probably Grant. You're probably not selling the whole team, but trading probably 7 out of your 12 players. As long as you leave Jason Tatum here, because this is his team. No matter what people say, this is Jason Tatum's home. He will probably re-sign a max deal from the Celtics because he showed a lot of heart and he showed a lot of skills in these past playoffs. You heard Kevin Durant say on someone's podcast saying that Jason Tatum is kind of scary to guard. You saw him, James Harden, he couldn't even guard him. Kyrie Irving, no one could guard him. If only we had Jaylen Brown healthy against the Brooklyn Nets, I could definitely see that the Celtics could have made it maybe a 7-game series and probably could have not really knocked them out, but made it like a 6, maybe 7-game series. Because, we definitely need Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown either together, but I have a feeling that, they don't bond together well, or they have like a hate towards each other. Like, that's the thing I'm kind of worried about. But, going back to Celtics, Damian Lillard, should they trade for him? Yes, I'd say that. But let's talk about a team out in the West, the Phoenix Suns playoff run. Wow, is this team going to go far in the playoffs? I can seriously see them striving well. And, they beat LeBron James. They beat basically the GOAT of the NBA. And it's amazing. We're not going to see the Lakers or the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals this year. And I am pumped and I'm really excited about this. Because here's the thing. I'm a diehard Celtics fan. My rivalry team, LA Lakers. I really love not seeing LeBron James in this playoffs. And, the Suns beating the Lakers last week, the best thing I've ever seen from any NBA team. And no other team could do it but the Phoenix Suns. Devin Booker is going off. Chris Paul, he's showing him that he actually wants to stay and he actually wants to contend for an NBA banner because he hasn't had one. He hasn't been in the finals run. He hasn't been a part of anything. And I think this Phoenix Suns, they have a lot of momentum to do it. And I think Chris Paul, he can definitely strive well in a Suns uniform. And Devin Booker, I talked about this, in my couple other podcasts, but Devin Booker is showing life just like Kobe Bryant used to do for the LA Lakers. Devin Booker is basically the Kobe Bryant of the Phoenix Suns that every player has been looking for. Suns Nation, you guys have been looking for a player like that. Devin Booker is your man. I can't believe how well he's doing. And this is his first time in the NBA playoffs. First time for the Phoenix Suns. You would have thought them being the second seed in the playoffs, saying, Phoenix, they're like the Cleveland Browns of the NFL. They really are, and it's kind of sad to see it. But, the Suns are basically like the Browns. they're showing passion and they're showing strive. They're like, hey, we ain't going to be the freaking joke of the NBA anytime soon. Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton is showing, and D Book, he's showing that this team can actually win some games in the playoffs. And I can see them going maybe 5-6 games. I can definitely see the Phoenix Suns beating the MVP this year, the Joker, and the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets don't have a chance. Don't have a chance to advance. They really don't. If they had Jamal Murray, yeah, I'd say this could go 7, but I can see Phoenix in 5 or 6. I really can. Maybe Denver takes 1 or 2 games, maybe from the Phoenix Suns, but other than that, the Phoenix Suns are advancing. They're going to the 3rd round. I don't know who they could be playing. I think they're playing the Jazz. I think that's who their next opponent will be. It'll be Jazz, the number 1 versus number 2 seed. That'll be very interesting to see. So let's talk about the seeds in the playoffs right now. I'm going to talk about the East and then go to the West. So the Milwaukee Bucks against Brooklyn Nets right now, I really thought this series could go 7. I really thought that the Bucks and Giannis and Chris Middleton could actually be the team that could take the Brooklyn Nets to 7 series. But it kind of doesn't look like that. If the Milwaukee Bucks don't show up at home tonight against the Brooklyn Nets, they're getting swept. I'm sorry. And this is really sad to say that the Celtics, who are not a better team than the Milwaukee Bucks, took 1 game. 1 game from the Brooklyn Nets. And that's sad to say if you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan. If you get absolutely swept by this Brooklyn Nets team right now, that's kind of sad. And if you kind of think about it, Giannis Antetokounmpo, a.k.a. the Greek Freak, he's kind of like a Lamar Jackson of the NFL if you think about it. Because here's my scenario. Lamar Jackson does great in the regular season. He really does. He strives well. He makes his team 12-4, 13-3. But during the playoffs, he really doesn't show up. It's like Raven fans are just sitting there like, where's Lamar Jackson that used to be great in the regular season? Does he not freaking show up in the playoffs? That's kind of like what Giannis is doing right now in the playoffs right now. Great. He swept Miami Heat, 4-0, great sweep. But then they actually have like a great contender in the Brooklyn Nets. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is just sitting there, hands on his head, like he forgot how to play basketball. It seems like that's what's happening right now with the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is like the Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Like, Giannis puts out great points, 35, maybe he drops 40 or 30 per game. But then when you come to play off like a really good contender team like the Brooklyn Nets, it's kind of like, where's Giannis? He's not even like out there. It's really sad to say this. If you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan, you would at least thought they could have to take 1 or 2 games in Brooklyn. You guys took 0. 0, zilch, nada. That's what happened. The Brooklyn Nets are showing that they are a championship contender team. And I can see the Brooklyn Nets facing off against the Phoenix Suns finals. And I am cheering die-hardly for the Phoenix Suns to be Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. Now, and so Brooklyn Nets will possibly sweep the Milwaukee Bucks or win the series. Now, the Atlanta Hawks are playing the Philadelphia 76ers, and they took game 1 in Philadelphia. So that makes the series a little bit more interesting. And I think the Atlanta Hawks are a sleeper team in the playoffs right now. I think the Atlanta Hawks can win this in 6, possibly. If not, I think, the 76ers will win it. But I like to go underdog, and I think definitely the Hawks will win it in 6 or 7, possibly. So I think it'll be Hawks versus Nets come the 3rd round, aka the Eastern Conference Finals. So now let's go to the West Coast. My second favorite team now in the NBA, the Phoenix Suns. I think that the Phoenix Suns will advance against the Joker, aka the MVP of the league. I think they could win it in 6, 6-5. Because because I think the team is shockingly really good. And I think they can strive well as a team. So I think it'll be Phoenix Suns. And then we go Jazz versus Clippers. Who's going to win that one? Definitely the Jazz. The Jazz are a better favorite to win it against the Clippers. Clippers are a very talented team. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Rajon Rondo, Serge Ibaka. But I think if the Clippers don't make it into the third round, I could definitely see Kawhi Leonard walking. I really do. So in the Western Conference Finals, it'll definitely be Suns versus the Jazz, and in the Eastern Conference Finals, it'll be Nets versus the Hawks. So it'll be very interesting to see. Now, we're going to hit one last break, but when we return, let's talk about the Bruins and their must-win Game 6 tonight. I just checked the score. It is 1-1 Islanders and Bruins. I think are about to start the second period of play. But what will happen? Will the Bruins win or will they not? I will talk about that when we come back with our last break from the Clutch. What's going on, guys, and welcome on back to the Clutch. I'm your main man, Devin Telgani, right here. And here's the thing. The Bruins are in a must-win situation in order to stay alive in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now, the Bruins, they are a way better team than the Boston Celtics are, and I'll tell you this. This Game 6 is on the line right now. It is tied up 1-1. They're playing in New York. This game is really huge, and the Bruins, they really need to win this. Could this possibly be Tuukka Rask's last, performance in a Boston Bruins uniform? I think it is. I really think that, if the Bruins don't win this game, I can definitely see Tuukka Rask walking. I can definitely see him playing for a contender team. Maybe he plays for Vegas. Maybe he plays for another team that actually wants. Well, not actually wants. I'm not saying Bruins are not an actual NHL team that actually wants to win, but play for a contender, maybe like Pittsburgh. I don't know. Not the Buffalo Sabres, but like a team like that. Maybe the Washington Capitals. Maybe he rehooks up with Zdeno Chara. But the biggest things is no Kevin Miller, no Lazar, and no Carlo tonight in Game 6, which is kind of sad to say for a Bruins fan. But I think that tonight, we take over. The Bruins are winning tonight, and they're winning Game 7 in Boston. The Bruins are upset. They're pissed. Claude Julien got fined $25,000 for, things that he said about the officiating of Game 5, which I agree. Those were terrible calls. Not on the Bruins. Yeah, we got a couple power play goals here, but here's the thing. The New York Islanders are not really good with scoring on regular plays. They only score on power play sometimes, unless it was Game 6 tonight, because they only scored one goal, and it wasn't on the power, surprisingly. But the Bruins need to act like this is their last game. This is seriously their last game. They are literally on thin ice, physically and mentally. They are on thin ice right now. The Bruins need to win tonight. Boston Bruins faithful, we need to win. We need to get some Bruins We need to get out there and win. I think Taylor Hall has the game of his life tonight. I think he scores probably 2, and then Bergeron scores the empty netter to make it a 4-2 win by the Boston Bruins. I think they win it tonight, and they win Game 7. I might be overhyping the Bruins right now, but I can see it. I can see the Boston Bruins winning tonight. This is a must-win game, kind of 7, kind of 6 win. Because here's the thing. I know they usually say in NBA or, baseball, whoever wins Game 5 usually goes on to win the series. I hope that's wrong. I really do. I have this little teeny tiny hope for the Bruins tonight. I think we win it. I can definitely see us striving, doing great, and winning tonight. The night where they feast on those damn Islanders. We need to win. We need to play with a lot of heart. Someone needs to have a big speech in the lineup, and we need to wake up and win. That's what the Bruins need to do. They need to have a motivator like Brad Marchand. Push some people around and say, hey, this is Game 6. We need to win. Tonight, we fight and we win. Because this is our last game of the season. We are not going to see anyone else out there tonight. But we better play damn well with our hearts out and our chests pounding, and we need to play with gratitude. We need to show that we're going to fight for the right Game 7 back in Boston on Friday night. I'll be very hyped if they win in Game 6. They better as hell play with a lot of heart. Raps better save only probably 40 out of 39. And he only lets that one in the first period. That better be the only goal he lets up. Because if not, bye-bye Bruins. Because here's the thing. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they beat the Hurricanes. And they're advancing on to play in the third round of the playoffs. Kind of sad, kind of upsetting. If we pull up this upset, and if we win tonight and on Friday night, I don't know how well we're going to do against the Lightning. I hope we can damn well beat the Lightning. But we can't even talk about that yet. Because we have a Game 6 happening right now. I can't believe it. We are fighting for our lives. And I thought that this could go 7 games. I better be damn right. Because if not, this is why the Bruins will lose. Because of me. No, I'm kidding. But I would like to see Swarman play some more, stints in goal. If, Rapp isn't the answer for the Boston Bruins. Krejci better have a big night tonight. Taylor Hall better have his night of his life. Bergeron better play a lot hell better than he did in Game 5. It's just like these missing open net opportunities is kind of sad for the Boston Bruins. It really is. The Bruins need to wake up and they need to win. Because if they win tonight and then they win on Friday night, that puts a lot of Boston Bruins fans in a lot of momentum. Plus, we just got back, from 100% capacity. The Bruins better be playing like this the whole series. They better be acting like this is basically a Game 7. And they're playing for their life. They better. They really need to wake up, smell the roses, and get some comeback wins. Because I think that the Bruins will win tonight. The final score, 4-2, your Boston Bruins. We'll be leading 3-2 heading into the third period. Some close chances to score, as per usual. But then Bergeron nets it with the empty netter, and we are heading back to Boston for a Game 7. Because this Bruins team has a lot of hype and energy. I can definitely see it. I think that the Boston Bruins can win a championship this year. We've proven that we can actually be a really good team in the Washington Capitals 5 games. I really thought the Capitals were a better team with us, with Ovechkin, with Chara. I thought they were a whole lot better team, but damn, did we show them up and shut up them a lot. We showed them that this is our city. Boston Bruins faithful, I really hope that we win this game. I'll be very hyped, overjoyed that the Bruins win this game. Because I think they do. I'm not psychic, but I think the Bruins will win this game 4-2, coming back to Boston, and we win 3-1 in Game 7 if this actually happens for your Boston Bruins. I can definitely see the Bruins striving well. I can see Rask having one heck of a game tonight. Probably saves 40 out of 39 shots. I mean, only one goal, which the goal that happened in the first period happens. Because if I see a 2-1 scoreboard, I'm going to say the season's over. I mean, yeah, we're only down by one goal. The Bruins with empty passes. Like, what's going on with that? Like, they keep going, ooh, left and right. Yeah, I know they're trying to find an open way to find an open net, but that ain't going to be happening if you keep doing like that. They just need to find the open person, and if it's an open net, shoot and score. And have a Pastrnak and miss a wide open empty net goal. But, the Bruins, I have a lot of hype, and I have a lot of faith in them. Better than the Celtics did this year. I can definitely see the Boston Bruins winning tonight, possibly, and winning on Friday night. Because if the Bruins win on Friday night, they're definitely striving, and they're definitely having their heads held high. They need to play just like the U.S. Hockey Dream Team in the movie Miracle. They really do. And I think the Bruins will advance and play the Lightning. And come back to me by next week, and I'll have you guys an answer about how well I'll think the Bruins will be doing playing against the Lightning, or if their season could be over by tonight. So there could possibly be two solutions. One, we lose like 4-2, and our season's over, and Rask definitely walks. Or two, we win tonight, and we definitely have our heads held high, and we go back to Boston, and we beat the heck out of the New York Islanders, and we force them to have a Game 7 back in Boston. I would really love to have that happen as a Boston Bruins fan, to have us win tonight and then win tomorrow. So, guys, thank you guys for tuning into The Clutch. This has been a very great and exciting episode number 7. Next week will be episode number 8. I can't believe it. But, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. I'm your boy, Devin Telgani, and this is Clutch. We will see you next week.